What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, I want to give you my perspective. I'm a transplant here to Las Vegas on why you might not want to move here. And I want to say this first. I love living here. I'm glad we have a house here. I wouldn't change that for anything. But for a lot of people, I think that they think, oh, moving to Vegas is this great idea. They had so much fun when they come and visit and they're on the strip, they're in the casinos, they're partying. Well, Vegas life is pretty normal. And I do think that that come and go nature, a lot of people move here, it's not for them, they move out. I think that basically forms a lack of community. And I do think that there's a huge community for people that were born and raised here. And I think they're very prideful that they were born and raised here. And I think that having a lot of us transplants come in, because Vegas is known to be a transplant city. Let's face it, they're kind of protective of their turf. And understandably so. I mean, we're coming in, we're driving up house prices, we're changing the city. A lot of people that live here and lived here for a long time, they don't like where people are moving from for whatever reasons, political being one of the big things that I've seen. So there seems to be a lack of community. But for those moving in, if community is important to you, it doesn't mean that you can't find it. I just noticed that in my development, there's a lot of transplants. I see Oregon license plates. I see Washington license plates. I see California license plates. I see Texas license plates. And so, yeah, people are just coming from these different areas. Now, I think that those people will form a community. I will be honest, most of the people that I met at my gym have all moved here from some other state. And it seems that there's a sense of community there. And so I just think you have to go out and find your people. You got to go out and find your tribe. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think that people that have kids, yeah, you're probably going to meet other parents. For people that are professionals or, young professionals, yeah, you're going to meet people at wherever you hang out, bars, lounges, gyms, you're going to find your people. But I think that you have to be proactive. And I do want to say this because I'm into sports. I do think that there's basically a community getting behind the Golden Knights, the Aces, I'm sure the A's. Not so much the teams that are actually moving here, but more so the teams that have been basically expansion teams here. So when the NBA comes, I think there's a lot of people in the community that are rallying those teams. I think lack of community, that would be a negative in my opinion. And I just think that the people that lived here for a long time or the people that were born and raised here, they definitely have a cool community. And I think that it's all about just, kind of mixing in with the locals and becoming a local once you move here. So number one, lack of community. Number two, I would say the continuous construction. Now, obviously we have a lot of new homes being built. Summerlin, Sky Canyon, Henderson, it doesn't matter where. I mean, there's just houses being built everywhere. So it seems like there's always going to be some construction going on. There's obviously a lot of construction continuously on the strip as well. New hotels, new casinos. There's a lot of infrastructure that's being developed. So, not just in places like Summerlin West where there's a lot of houses, but now we don't have too many grocery stores and businesses around. So you have that. You have business parks being built. You have commercial buildings being built. And then, yeah, just the amount of people moving here with the infrastructure, the beltways are getting improved. There always just seems to be some type of construction going on. So really, if that's something that you're not really a fan of, you want something that's more mature, you want something that is basically more established, well, there's areas of Las Vegas that you should look. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be happening in the foreseeable future. I mean, we were the number one destination for people relocating in 2023, and that probably won't slow that much in 2024. It has slowed, after the pandemic, but I mean, we're probably going to be in the top three for the foreseeable future. It's just housing affordability for a lot of people coming from coastal cities and or more expensive areas. It's still very cheap to live here. Not so much for people that are coming from, say, the Midwest or people that already live here. The cost of living isn't necessarily the best, but for those coastal cities, yeah, it is. And so we're going to see this basically population boom continue. It's been something crazy over the last 30 years. It's been about 5.5 people per hour moving to Las Vegas, Clark County. So it's going to continue. So with that said, construction will likely continue as well. And a third thing that if it's not really your thing, you might not want to move here, especially if you're buying a house, is cookie cutter homes. To me, there's just not a lot of character here. I came from the Northwest. I actually still go back and forth, Seattle, Tacoma. And my houses there are old. I have a 1960, I have a 1925 rental. And so there's a lot of character, there's a lot of charm. But obviously, I have my issues with that because that comes with a lot of costs. But here, it's newer homes. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't have our mid-century homes and there's areas that have older homes. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like, yeah, for the new construction, yeah, a lot of it is cookie cutter. And with that comes a lot of pros, such as, crisp landscaping, basically communities that flow really well. They're all master planned, or not all, but a lot are master planned. Even the ones that aren't, I mean, it's clean, but like all you got to do is fly in from the air and you can see that it's just rows of houses everywhere, right? So yeah, we lack the character and the charm here, and that's just the bottom line. Now we have some crazy custom homes, crazy custom home builders that make ridiculous and amazing looking houses. But for the majority of people, yeah, if you're moving here and you're looking to buy a house, you're probably going to have a cookie cutter home. It's just the reality of the matter. And number four, maybe a reason for me, it's a good reason, but a lot of people don't like this. But if you love the Four Seasons, Vegas isn't the place for you. And I say that because we don't really, I call it two seasons. I call it a glorified fall, which is November, December, January, into February. And then we have summer. And I just compare it to the weather that I'm used to in the Northwest. I mean, like for me, it's, if it's 80 plus, it's summertime. And here that's happening in the spring. So that's just something to really think about. And then obviously we have an extreme heat in the summer, June, July, August, usually in the hundreds. So a lot of people don't like that. And for me personally, I mean, I'd rather have the sun and the AC going than I would the rain and being stuck inside all winter in Seattle, Tacoma. And that's just me. But a lot of people like that. They like the seasonality of things. They like having the rain. They like having the snow. They like having that spring where it's 63. And we definitely get spring weather here. It's just in January and February. Actually, we have a cold front right now, but it's what going to be 65 next week, 63. And so, yeah, it really just depends on what you're looking for. But if you want warmer weather, especially if you want sun, obviously we have around 300 sunny days a year. Yeah, this is a great place. But if you want those seasons, yeah, this isn't the place for you. Another thing to really think about too, and this probably goes without saying, but Las Vegas, we have a lot of temptation here. We have a lot of vices running around: sex, drugs, alcohol, gambling. If you aren't a disciplined person and you want to basically improve your life and stay away from those things, but those are really a big part of your life right now, yeah, Vegas probably isn't the place for you. Now, if you don't give a shit, yeah, come on to Vegas, man. We got plenty of things to do for you 24/7, right? But for a lot of people, that is a problem. And for me personally, I mean, I look at Vegas and I live here and it's just normal living. I mean, I rarely go to a casino. I think I've been to it twice since we've been here, and we've been here a little over a year. Once was when my buddies came into town. The other was with my wife. But the bottom line is yeah, we have a lot of vices. And if you're not cool with that, or you want to stay away from that, Vegas probably isn't the place. If you're a recovering alcoholic, maybe not the place for you if you give in easily, right? Or if you like drugs. I mean, very easy to get, a lot of parties going on. So, I mean, just something to think about. Be honest with yourself. And, two, this isn't really necessarily a vice per se, but, we're a great food city. I mean, we're a foodie city. We have great eats. And if that's something that you can't control, if you are, looking to lose some LBs or something, yeah, maybe not the right place too. But again, this kind of stuff can happen anywhere, right? You can go to a casino on an Indian reservation in so many different areas. So, I mean, like at the end of the day, I think that yeah, it's something to consider. But if you are pretty normal wherever you live, like in regards to your vices, yeah, you're going to be just fine here too. So I think it all comes down to discipline and just knowing yourself. And another thing that a lot of people don't talk about, but I feel like Vegas is a great place for business. I feel like obviously it's a great place for the hospitality industry. So, if you're in that industry or you have a profession that you get tips, It's great. To me, it's Vegas, even though there's not a ton of, I shouldn't say that. Vegas to me is more like if you're a hustler, if you have like a profession where income is not set, meaning like it's not per hour or like your income potential is unlimited, I think Vegas is a great place. It's a great place to start a business. The tax incentives are amazing. I'll probably have to jump into another video about that. If you're, working as a valet, yeah, a lot of people, bartenders, they can make really, really good money. And so living here makes sense. Or if you're a head chef or, a head server, whatever it may be, you can make really good money. For me personally, I don't think it's really the place if you're just trying to have a normal job. And what I mean by normal is like if you're in the healthcare industry, not a doctor per se, but say you're, a receptionist or I don't know, something else. I mean, like the thing is you're going to make less per hour in Vegas, more than likely, if you're coming from a coastal city. So, I mean, that's something to really consider. Yeah, you can say, well, the housing's cheaper. Yeah, it 100% is compared to a lot of the coast cities. But, a lot of people don't know this is Vegas is actually 10% higher than the national average when it comes to housing. So you got to really weigh it on your income and what your income generation is going to be to see if it makes sense for you. Now, if you're selling a home and you can buy a home here in cash, yeah, go for it. I mean, absolutely. Or if you can put significant down because you're coming from a more expensive area, yeah, 100%. But if you're just trying to like, oh yeah, I think it's going to be cheaper to live in Vegas. Well, yeah, it might be, and you might have more disposable income, but it really comes down to like what you're making, in my opinion, because Vegas isn't necessarily cheap. It's a lot cheaper than where I came from, but that's in regards to housing. Food seems around the same. So yeah, it's just something to think about that basically if your income is going to stay relatively the same, really, you got to really look into where you're coming from. And the last one I want to talk about is if you're used to like a walkable city, Vegas isn't the place. Now, it's not to say that there aren't parts that you can walk to the grocery store or walk to a bar or walk to a restaurant. Now, there's those places, and Summerlin West, for example, with the urban core will be obviously more walkable for those people in that area. But we're a car-dependent city. I forget exactly our walkability score, but I think it's like a 42, which is pretty damn low. Our public transportation score isn't much better. And that system is really, really bad. And I think it is improving. I think I saw something with some a rail going in at some point. But my point is like we're a car dependent city. So like you're going to be driving almost everywhere. The good thing is I feel like things connect a lot easier with all the different beltways that we have. It seems like to me, you can get a lot of places in 10 or 15 minutes. It doesn't mean that we don't have rush hour traffic. It doesn't mean that we don't have traffic at times. It just coming from the Seattle area. I mean, the traffic here is nothing. It's actually like I was laughing because I was coming back from the airport and I was kind of stuck for a minute and I was like, this is nothing compared to what I deal with. I mean, I'm in Summerlin and I'm 22 minutes from the airport, probably around the same to the Strip. So, you can get almost anywhere pretty quickly here, but you are going to have a car. It is car dependent. And I'm sure that some of these master plan communities will have more walkability, but at the end of the day, it's suburban living and it's cookie cutter living. So you're going to have to get used to that. So, all right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Again, these are some cons and maybe some things to really think about and say, is Vegas the right place for me to move? I don't really think any of this stuff is terrible. I just think it's something that you really need to consider because it's a great fit for a lot of people, but for a lot of people, it isn't a great fit as well. So if you like this video, please give me a like, hit the subscribe button. And yeah, I'm trying to get more long form content out. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you.